I'm Carlton Reid. I don't normally drive within Jesmond, but I'm going to right now. And that's because we're going for an LTN road trip. So let's start the clock. Because I'm going to go on an LTN road trip. What it is, 10 to 4 on Friday afternoon, just before the bank holiday on Monday. So I would say this is likely to be a pretty busy time on the roads. AA always says these kind of Friday afternoons, just before a bank holiday weekend, are some of the worst bits of traffic hold-ups you can imagine. So we're going to go and do the LTNs of Newcastle on a pretty dire day for doing it, Friday afternoon. So motorists can reach every part of an LTN, but of course LTNs may make car journeys longer. But how long? There's a claim that this LTN, which we're kind of skirting around in a minute, in that we can't go in because the barriers are being put up. So there's a claim that this LTN in East Jesmond has made a 5-minute car journey into a 45-minute car journey. And so this little drive, one of my rare trips out in the car in Jesmond, apart from when I'm going long distances of course, is going to test that claim. So I've got a camera beside me, I've got a camera on top of the car, a GoPro on top of the car. So we're going to see, does this journey take 45 minutes? I'm going. Well, I started in Jesmond Vale there, kind of rural part of Jesmond, down in the Jesmond Vale, and I am going to go to Jesmond swimming pool on a bike that's probably well, I'd have to time it, but it's a 5-10 minute journey on a bike. If you're cutting through in a car, potentially that would be 5-10 minutes also. You can no longer cut through on a car there because they've put the LTNs in, and you're basically having to go on roads like this instead, which are roads that are more suited. I mean, this is a 4-lane highway. When I get onto the main part of the road, I'll kind of explain the history of this particular 4-lane highway, but this is a 4-lane highway where motorists are probably going to be a bit more comfortable just because it's wider and it's kind of built for motoring. It does appear that I've got a police car behind me. You can't see that in the front, but I've got a police car behind me. So I'll just stop at the lights to let them through. If you do hear any weird noises, that's just my dog, our guide dog puppy in training, who is chewing a carrot and has got a few things in the back there, but hopefully she won't bark. Hopefully she'll just be okay in the back there, because of course she thinks she's going to the beach. Poor thing. She's not going to the beach. All she's doing is going between one little part of Jesmond to another part of Jesmond. Not the most stimulating of journeys for her, for anybody. So this is peak time. This is 4 o'clock-ish. Police car gone. This is 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and I would put it this way: I would not normally put myself through this. I would not normally get stuck in traffic deliberately to do anything really. If I was doing a long journey and you have got to clear Jesmond Road to get onto the central motorway, to get south, if you want to go that way on the motorway network, then chances are I have got to come on Jesmond Road, this particular road here now. But I wouldn't do it at peak times. And if I did do it at peak times, then I would know it's going to be chocker. Because this road is pretty much, at peak times, is always chocker. If you want to use this road, then use it on off-peak times. And then it really isn't that bad. If you use it off-peak times, it's relatively clear. We haven't got London levels of chronic congestion at all times of the day. We have peaks, and Jesmond Road is definitely somewhere to avoid on when it's peak travel. And so here, this is Jesmond Road proper, and it's definitely going to be somewhere that I would want to avoid normally. I appreciate why people who have been used to cutting through Jesmond and now having to use these kind of roads. I know why they're annoyed, because I would also be annoyed if I had to do these roads all the time. But I only use it for those long journeys when I'm cutting through, and I avoid it at peak times. And if you're using the small roads of Jesmond to get from one part of Jesmond to another part of Jesmond, well, you've got a question for the great majority of people, not everybody. There are many people for whom a motor car is their only option. Disabled people, their carers, yes, I totally appreciate that there's going to be some people who need to drive, and for whom going on this particular road at peak times is going to be a bit of a nightmare. And it's a nightmare for anybody to be on this particular road. I appreciate that. But I'm going to stop in just in case I don't want to go in the yellow box there. Will I get across? Yes, I think I will. So I'll now move along. So I appreciate that people don't want to be on this road, but this road is going onto the motorway. This is going onto the central motorway through Newcastle, and that's why it's busy. It's not busy. This is not all this congestion that's here now. This was here beforehand. This is not brand new, caused by the LTN congestion by any means, because I would always avoid this road, as anybody, if they can help it, would avoid this road at peak times. But this road feeds onto the central motorway from the coast, and from North Shields, and from Wallsend, and from all the towns and villages and conurbations, whatever, further on across from the coast, and then it leads onto the central motorway. So it's the way down south from Newcastle. So that's why it's chocker, and that's why it's always been chocker. There were talk of these cemeteries that are both sides here. They were going to dig the bodies up in 1971, and the central motorway was going to come this way. They didn't dig the bodies up, but they were talking about it. So this was going to be a motorway. As you can see, it's a 4-lane highway, congested at the moment, as it's always congested. But you'd think this road is built for motor cars, perhaps. Maybe I've done interviews along this road where I've asked people when they thought this road was built, and well, nobody would give me the correct answer, of course. But various answers were things like 1970s, was it the 1950s? And the answer is no, it was 1835, 1836. So these cemeteries that are both sides, certainly this one on the left-hand side here, that was built by John Dobson, famous Newcastle architect, in 1835. The Corporation of Newcastle upon Tyne put this road through to Dobson's cemetery, and you can see where the cemetery walls are there now. So the width of this road has not changed. This hasn't been widened for motor cars. This has always been this wide. Since 1835, this is the new turnpike road from Newcastle through to then the sleepy agricultural suburb of Jesmond. And it was a straight road, the old road, Sanderford Road, to the left. That's the old serpentine-ish, sinewy road. That's, you know, lost through the mists of time when that was actually created. This one was put through as a brand new road long before, you know, a good 70 years before motor cars came along. But as you can see, it is now absolutely crowded out with motor cars. It used to be trams along here. Old photographs show there was horse and carriages, bicycles, and a tram line was taking up two of the carriageways here, and now it's just bumper to bumper motor traffic crawling along. And I was sent on Twitter, somebody sent me the Newcastle cameras, the traffic cameras, and they were saying, look at what the LTNs have done. The LTNs have caused all of this congestion. And that's probably not the best evidence to use, because of course you can go back in time and you can look at what those cameras were like at this time last year, before the LTNs. And the cameras are up on the central motorway, and it's the same amount of traffic, no difference, because this road has always been congested. And we are coming up to the junction where I had a video 10 days or so ago of the LTN protests that were held. And it was a day similar to this. Nice day, people were out, there was motorists were beeping their horns because the sign said 3-hour roads. And of course, which motorists would not want to free the road? So they got lots and lots of beeps saying, yes, we support your campaign. But at the end there, where the protest was held, the people who I was interviewing, I didn't think I got anybody who said the congestion on this road is new. I think some people said, oh, it's worse now, but it's always been bad. So everybody recognises that the congestion on this road has always been bad. It's truly not caused. This congestion that we're going through now is not caused by the LTNs. But this particular junction where they were protesting at, you know, it does take a while to get through. So if you're somebody who previously would have cut through the houses, cut through the residential areas, seemingly don't care about your neighbours, don't care about children's safety, don't care about air quality because you're willing to go for very short journeys. Some people who I was interviewing, you know, were doing less than 1 mile journeys in their cars, taking kids to school and what have you. Well, if you're willing to do that, then yes, you've now got to come on this road instead, this junction, which does take a while to get through. There is absolutely no way around that. And if you previously cut through, you went through the houses, and it was a 5, probably longer than that. If you actually evaluated how long it took, it was probably longer than 5 minutes. But because you've got to factor in things like parking, unless you're going, you know, just literally dropping somebody off and you're not leaving your car anywhere, then you've got to factor in parking if you're not doing those things. So it's never as quick as people think. But yes, it's now longer, absolutely longer to do this, because I've now got to come across, and I've got to get across all of this busy traffic to get to where previously I could have cut through the houses. So it's a little bit longer where I'm going. I'm actually in an electric car at the moment, so I'm not causing any bad air, not locally anyway, but I'm certainly potentially causing road danger here. You know, there's people there on the corner And I'll tell you what, these traffic lights take forever to change for pedestrians. They are awful. I walk there with Erica, our guide dog, and we've got to adhere to every single traffic law. Obviously, I can't be going. I'm not going to say jaywalking because jaywalking doesn't exist, but I certainly wouldn't go against lights in a car when we're walking with the guide dog, because the guide dog's got to learn all about the sounds of the traffic lights. So I wouldn't do anything to go against that. And those lights there for pedestrians, they're awful. You are there for minutes, and that's really not fair. I mean, the motorists are held there for minutes, the pedestrians are held there for minutes. It's a busy junction. That's why it's congested, because it's a four-way junction. Pedestrians have got to get across, motorists have got to get across. It's awfully busy. And you can see both sides of this road are busy. And people will say, oh, it's because of the LTNs. This has been busy before the LTNs. And it is, of course, not only is it peak time because of holidays coming up, and it's a Friday, so this has got to be the worst possible time for doing this particular journey. Add that is you've got all the private schools to the left here, and they have an enormous amount of car traffic, and they've always had an enormous amount of car traffic. So people will get in their cars, do short journeys, drop off their kids, go somewhere else. I don't know where they're driving. But there will be long queues at this particular junction here because of people dropping off their kids at the posh private schools that are here. And I can see some school kids coming out. So again, this road has got an awful lot of motor traffic on it, and it's pretty much, certainly at this time of day, will always have a lot of motor traffic on it. That's just unavoidable. So could you have avoided it before by going through the houses? You could have avoided bits of it for sure. How fair is that? How fair is that on pedestrians and cyclists and people who are not in motor cars? So the freedom that people talk about is actually just the freedom for motorists. And look, I'm a motorist because I'm driving right now, but the freedom of motorists to go where they want, when they want. But that curtails the freedom of people not in motor cars. So people don't tend to appreciate that. So here's our first evidence of an LTN. This particular road, that Osborne Avenue, was awful road for going up and down. Truly awful as a motorist. Stop start because it's quite narrow. People parked on both sides. It could take quite a while to get up and down that road at the best of times. Now it's had barriers put halfway, and it's such a nice road now. I'm sure the residents there are not going to be complaining when they actually think about how nice their road is now. And here we've got more old LTN. So there's some, like back there was Holly Avenue. That was an LTN created in 1971. Some barriers up there, some bollards up there to prevent motorists getting through. Nobody is calling for Holly Avenue to be reopened to motorists. The same, there's a Mitchell Avenue up the top there, exactly the same. It's nobody would call for these roads to be opened again. Whoa, big truck. All right, I'm gonna pull over to here. Oh, no, it's going now. Can I get through there? I might get there. Okay, now that's a sodding great truck that's come through there. Wow! Oh, that's taken a few more minutes out of my time. Oh, and this car's coming. That was a big truck going to Tesco's. Oh, yeah, right, I'm going to go through there. What a massive truck. And then look, see, this is just... So even without the LTNs, this road at this time would have stop-start traffic like this. So this is adding into my time. So people who say, oh, it will just take 5 minutes, they're not factoring in these sort of things. There's a cyclist coming, but I think I can just about go through slowly. And in fact, I'll let the cyclist come through. I've now got a scooter behind me. And there we go. And I'm shortly going to be going past Acorn Road, which is a main shopping street, posh shopping street in Jesmond, and cafes and nice stuff. And just up ahead is the swimming pool. Jesmond Library. And there we go. So we are at Jesmond Pool, and it is 10 past. What's that? 10 past. 10 past 4.